friends monopolize your time, your spouse is not going to feel wanted. And if they don't feel wanted, they're going to go somewhere where they feel wanted.
Yeah.
So that would be on that part of the fact of pull boundaries with your family and friends.
But I will also say the boundaries can consist of making sure you keep your business to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Don't share what's going on in your marriage with your family.
Oh, we talked, but we said that so
No,
many times.
I'm
We
just
can
saying.
say that in
And
nauseum.
guess what?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say it again because a lot of people go through that where they, they talk about things that's going on, especially bad things that's going on in the marriage of their family, and family is in the mode of protecting their loved one, right?
Yeah.
So they like, oh, he hurting you or she hurting you or whatever, or what they did, and you end up spilling everything, and then the next thing you know,
Why? But why do people do that? See, I think sometimes.
because they sometimes want somebody on their side.
Yes,
You know what I'm
that's why I
saying?
was going with
It
it.
want to
Yeah.
be. It's not mutual. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? It ain't like your family is not going to be a person that's going to look at both sides. They only going to look one way.
I disagree. Sometimes you have some family members that be like,
It depends.
you have some family
It
members that will
depends.
say, "Hey, wait a minute, what did you do?"
Right. It depends on the. It
It
depends on the
depends if
people.
they
So
like the other spouse.
right. Right.
That's
Yeah.
pretty much.
Drop the beat now.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Welcome, everybody. How you all doing today?
Yeah. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Yeah. So glad you could join us today on Marriage Can Heal podcast.
That's right. My name is Tara,
My name is Pedro,
and welcome.
and welcome. So we're gonna get right into it today.
That's right.
So our topic for today is going to be the things that can ruin a marriage.
Mm.
And what we mean by things, we just means words, actions, uh, all the things that can just hurt. They can just hurt a marriage. Subconscious things that you may not even realize that you're doing.
Right.
So we're going to get into that. Actually, I just want to ask you how your week has been. But I know for me, it's like the weather has been really, really bad. I've been out in the rain,
Yes.
and I just enjoyed it. The sun was set early because the sun is setting like 4 o'clock, and the thing is going to start setting like three up to about 3:20 at some point.
Right.
But the thing I hate is just a little pet peeve of mine is that like driving in at night trying to find places.
It's difficult.
It's difficult. I can't see because they over here in the UK they don't put numbers on stuff.
They
They
do,
put
but it's small.
yeah small, or then it's like if it's stone, it's the same color as the stone. Like how
Oh,
are you supposed to see the number if it's the same color as the stone? And it's like pitch black because by 4 o'clock in evening time it is pitch black over here.
definitely. It
And if
is.
it's raining and you can't see nothing, so I got to get out the car in the rain, look,
Right.
walk. I'm getting all wet trying to find a place.
And it's getting extremely cold now. Like,
Yeah, it's cold rain. That's the worst kind of
oh
rain.
my goodness, the cold rain. It feels like
Yeah, I
you
don't mind.
walking in ice.
I don't mind the rain, but when it's cold rain, I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh, that's a little nippy. I mean, it don't bother me. It's just, I just wish things, in the day when it sets at 10 o'clock at night, you can see everything.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I will say about is
By the time the
setting
kids
at
get
night.
home from school, it's dark, and I feel like, wait a minute, it make you feel like it's like 9, 10 o'clock at night when
Mhm.
actually it's 3:34.
Nah, well, no. When it gets dark, it's dark. But then around 6 o'clock, you're thinking it's 8. Because I think the other day we was like, it's like 9 o'clock, and we look, it was only 6. We was like, what?
I remember one time I put the kids to bed early because I was so mixed up with the
I remember I called you, and you was
yeah
like, I put the kiss to bed. I was like, why? You was like, because it's not. I was like, no.
right.
He was like, wait, what time is it?
I
Mhm.
actually woke them and said, "Y'all get up for a couple hours," you
Should
know.
we have a relative who of ours? I think that's why she is losing track of time. She keeps thinking it's the day before. So like today's what Tuesday? Today's not Tuesday, but today's Wednesday.
Right.
She thinks today's Thursday.
Yeah.
She keeps. I call her up and like, "What's up?" And she was like, "Yeah, um, is today Monday?" And I'm like, "No, today's Sunday." She's like,
Yeah.
"Nah." And I'm like, "It's Monday,
You can definitely get
Sunday.
confused with all of this early time. That's one thing I don't think I ever get used to being in the UK is how it's just getting dark so early.
Yeah, it
And
messes up your whole equilibrium. It
yeah,
just messes up
and it make you
everything.
feel like you just got up and you got to go right back to bed again. It's just like the time, you feel like you don't have enough time in the day. You know what I'm saying? It seems like it's just going. It goes by really fast.
That's because you wake up in the dark and you go to sleep in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. It's like
Yeah.
the light. Yeah. So if we oversleep or sleep, there's no sleeping in the wintertime in the UK. Because if you sleep in, you might as well just stay in bed.
You might as well just stay in the bed because it don't make sense.
By the time you get out the bed at 12,
It's gonna
4 hours
be dark.
later, it's dark. You're like, wait a minute.
It's pitch black.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But and then with these little small roads and stuff, oh my goodness. Yeah, in the rain, it's just not fun. But hey,
And
God has blessed
and
me
what
and
I
brought me
tell you
through.
all the time, Peter, I want to start driving and get on the road, but I don't think so. Not in this.
Oh no, the main roads are
rain and-
fine. The main roads is fine. It's sometimes the GPS takes me off
Oh, it takes you off.
little like into the mountains and into the
Okay.
valleys and the
Okay.
little nooks and crannies and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, like to beat traffic and stuff. It'll take me like places, yeah, where I'm seeing nothing but cats and dogs and cows and sheep and lambs and stuff and horses.
Wow.
So yeah, like all you see is just land for days. So
Man.
those are the the little ins and outs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But enough of that. So like I said, we're gonna get into our topic today for
Yeah.
things that can ruin a marriage.
Yes. And you want to pray?
Yeah, we can pray. You can
Okay.
pray.
All right. Lord, thank you so much for this day, Lord, as we talk about things that ruin a marriage, because we have been through things ourselves. I'm asking you, Lord, to be with each person that's listening, be with each marriage, each relationship that are going through situations. Lord, allow us to be able to say some things that may help someone along the way. Lord, thank you for this time and this opportunity. I pray in your son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
So yeah.
So things that can ruin a marriage. What in your eyes, what's something that can ruin a marriage?
Not putting the other person first.
And what do you mean by that?
When you making decisions in a marriage, sometimes some people, if you make a decision on something and you're not even considering, oh, how this going to make my wife feel, or how this going to make my husband feel, you just basically just make the decision and say like, this is what it's going to be. You know what I mean? And not even considering how the other person may take it. A person may not even agree or may not even want to do it or may not want you to do that thing or more him or her to do that thing. And just being, I would say, self-motivated, just doing everything yourself.
So when a person is doing things, not taking the other person 1st, do you think that's an issue of maybe control?
In some way.
Because it's funny, I saw a TikTok and the lady was talking and she brought up the subject and I was like, wow, this is amazing that she brought up the subject. I've been noticing like when I get on TikTok, I don't get all the crazy stuff. I get a lot of marriage stuff and things. I don't know if you get yours on your TikTok. I don't get on TikTok that often, but I get a lot of
watch TikTok like that.
I know, but I go on every now and then, but I get a lot of like little snippets on marriage. But there's one particular one. She said that marriage, a husband and a wife, the woman, because she's talking about from herself,
right?
The woman wants to control the husband in the sense that she said that when they talk, he's not a child. That marriage is two parents, two adults coming together, maybe not agreeing,
right,
but coming together and then coming to a common ground that they can both agree can fix the problem that they're trying to fix.
Right.
But instead, a lot of times women will try to control the narrative and fix the problem and not listen to the husband. And that's where it can cause an issue. And then it makes the husband feel like he's the child because she's talking to him like he's the child.
But we talked about that in our last one.
I know we talked about it. I was just saying it was just funny that I came across this because it's about putting the other person first. It goes both ways, as you said.
But in a sense of putting someone first, I mean, like if you spending all your time towards something, like if you just working a lot, or if you you focus on what the kids need, or I got to get this done, I get that done. You get what I'm saying? Like your time is not spent in what needs to be for your spouse. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you don't even have time to spend time together or take a date night or something like that. It's important that we do those things because if we don't, we lose that connection. We lose
Yeah.
that romantic feel that we need to keep our marriage going.
So what if you can't go out? Because like for us, we don't go out that much.
Well, I think we need to try harder.
I know we need to try harder, but you don't want to go out because you don't trust
No,
nobody to watch the kids.
no, I'm willing. That's not true. Not
Now
not
that the
not,
kids
not
are
at
older.
this point. And
Now
when
that the
not
kids are older.
before I used to think that way, but not now.
Okay.
I don't think that way now. I know that's what you always think. I think.
No,
I
no, no,
thought.
no, 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 no. That's not what I'm not saying that's what I think. I
Right.
said that's how that was the issue.
Yeah,
But
that
now
was
that
the
the
issue
kids are
before when
now
they
that the
was
kids
younger.
are older, it's a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I think that even if you can get out, like say somebody that don't have money to get out or go and do those things
Well, what
like
you can do, you can set up a. I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go
No,
ahead.
no. Go
No,
ahead.
no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I know.
No, I was saying what you can do if you can set up a night in the house where you can get you some popcorn, get you a Netflix or a Prime, or even rent a movie. No, I'm just saying it can happen. You can put
No,
the
I
kids.
didn't say
You
that.
can put the kids up in their room,
Right.
right, and set them up, make sure they straight, or put them in the bed or whatever. If they're young or however, you do that, and you let your kids know this is the time for mommy and daddy right now. We need this time, and then you set up your movie night, and it could be like that.
But I was gonna, yeah, that's true. But I was when somebody that doesn't watch movies that falls asleep, that don't work.
Yeah, for
5 minutes in,
But
you be
I would say
you be knocked
I
out.
would have to
So
do early
my
a early movie.
point was that like
Or
I
dinner
was gonna
time.
say something that we do that I don't even think you realize what we do is
What's that?
once we put the kids to bed and you're in the living room and we
Mhm.
put the kids to bed, I go upstairs, I put the kids to bed. Sometimes you come up and sometimes you don't, which is fine because you've
Right.
been dealing with kids all day.
Mhm.
So I don't stress you on that. I don't be like, oh, you got to come up and say goodnight. They say goodnight before they go up.
Mhm.
Then I come back downstairs, and then we'll sit in the living room for an hour, hour and a half, just talking
Yeah.
and just conversating,
Mhm.
maybe watching a TV show or whatever. Or we just sit there with the TV not on, just talking.
Yeah.
And that I think is one way that as a couple you can connect.
Right. And one thing I've been trying to do, watch more sports with you because I know I'm not a big sports person.
Oh, that don't bother me.
No, I'm just saying for me, I try to find different ways to spend time with you because like I know I don't always like to sit and watch sports or basketball. You go flipping back and forth on different channels. So I think if I can, watch a little of that just to sit there with you and talk to you. But most times you don't like to have conversations when you're watching your football and stuff like that.
That's right, because I'm watching football. Who wants to talk? Who wants to talk? Because you want to talk about stuff, and I'm like, I'm not paying attention.
But I'm just saying, just putting in the time. That's all I'm saying. Like, even if it's not your football night, maybe we can find a little something together, or just talking. It's good. I just spending time together. It's important. But I will say, just even if it's just getting a hotel room for a weekend or something, and saying, you know what, let's go to this hotel room, just me and you, go out to eat, come back. We did that recently.
Yeah, but my point that I was making to you is that some people can't afford that, especially in this economic world right now. So I'm saying I'm giving other options.
Yeah.
If they can't. So like even if before you go to bed, you just have a conversation in bed. That's
Right.
why they say you should have a TV in the room.
All right. So you could, I can
So
see
that you can conversate with your significant other, your spouse, before you go to bed, and you can have a talk. You could just, talk. And that's why they say you shouldn't have a TV in your room because it takes away from, we have a TV in our room, I admit.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I'll talk to you, and then once you go to sleep, then I put the TV on.
Yeah.
Well, so I do that. Yeah. I mean, even though the TV's on, but if you start talking, I will stop watching TV. We'll talk, whatever. And it don't take long because once you lay down, you're pretty much, once your head hits that pillow, you're out.
Yeah.
So I know I can give you. See, I know I could give 10 minutes of my time because I know in 10 minutes you're gonna be asleep. So I said, okay, I could just pause it.
But you know what? Sometimes you have to take what you can get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and it is what. But the most important thing is just making sure you let that person know that look, I want to spend as much time as I can with you. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to feel like you got everything else that's taking up your time, and that you know what I'm saying, like they're not important.
Right.
And it's important for the other spouse to feel like you trying to make that time. Because if most times, especially for women, from a woman's perspective, she'd be like, oh, you ain't trying to spend time with me. You ain't trying to, just do a little something. And sometimes a little will go a long way. It ain't about how big it is.
No,
No, I'm just
sometimes
saying for some
some women
people.
get a little. They want them. They want it. They get an inch and they want a mile. So I don't know.
But I'm just saying. I mean, I
I'm
think
just
the man.
stating.
I think the man would feel that way if the woman is busy and he want time with her. You know what I'm saying? It's not just sexual. All the time. It's just the fact that he may just want that time. You know what I mean? You don't want. Do that make sense?
For me personally, as a man, for me, I'm good with like 15 minutes.
15 minutes of talking.
Yeah.
What you supposed to talk about in 15
I don't
minutes?
know, but I mean, to me, I'm just talking about. You should be long. It should be longer. No, but
Oh
we
my
do
goodness.
talk.
Really, Pedro, 15 minutes.
We do
I
talk
don't
long.
think every man is
We
like
do.
that.
I'm not saying every man. I'm saying for me personally, but I'm saying we do talk longer than that. I was just saying like some nights because like after I've been at work all day and I've been talking to people all day, and then I come home.
But
It's some
talking to
nights.
people and talking to your spouse is two different things. You have to
No,
cut that off.
no, I'm not saying I have to cut it off, but I'm tired. So sometimes I just want to like mentally shut down. I just want to just like mentally empty my brain where there's nothing there. And sometimes even with the TV on, I'm looking at the TV, but I'm not really looking at the TV because I'm just like blank. Just blanking your mind from it. Just recuperating yourself. Maybe thinking about because then you sit down, you think about how the day went, you think about what you have to do tomorrow, and then you're having a conversation with your spouse, and then so it's just finding
Balance.
that balance where you can do it
So
all.
your balance is 15 minutes tops.
No, I didn't say 15
That's
minutes
what you just
tops.
said.
I said sometimes.
No, you said
I
for
said
me,
sometimes.
15
For
minutes.
me, sometimes 15. Okay, I go a little 15, 30 minutes. It's okay for me.
Wow. Wow.
That's all I said. And I'm not saying every time. I'm saying sometimes. Sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm good, and we do that. Sometimes we'll speak because you know what the thing about us is this: we speak more on the phone sometimes than we do in person
Yeah, sometimes that's
because
true.
because it is so busy
Yeah.
in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually have our conversations while I'm driving because if it's an hour to my next job, I'll talk to you while I'm driving to the next job. So we have our conversation by so by the time the evening comes, we could just sit in the same room
Just be in
and
the same space.
and be in the same space and we're good and we don't really talk.
Right.
So that's what I mean. Everybody's different. And that's what
Yeah.
I mean 15 minutes because then we already discussed everything. We don't need to discuss it again if we already discussed it and came to a conclusion.
Yeah.
Maybe if we just discuss something, we didn't finish it off, we
Mm-hmm.
can finish it off at night.
Yeah.
But most times we finish it off. So we just sit in the same room and then, in this where before we go to bed, we're
Mm-hmm.
sitting in the bed together, we don't really have to talk.
Right.
And that's what I mean by that.
Yeah. I get that.
So
I
see,
get that.
you're trying to make me seem like I don't want to talk to my wife. hmm
But how you think that would affect the marriage if you're not spending time together?
Oh, you go apart because if you're not spending time and connecting with your spouse in other ways, you're not gonna be you're gonna find it from somewhere.
Yeah.
And if you're not finding it from your wife, somebody else is gonna step up and fill that void. And if you're
Mm.
not careful, next thing you know, somebody's in that void that you didn't realize was there. Then next thing you know, you're doing something you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
And that can definitely destroy a
and
marriage.
that's another thing. So along with now you got that, but then for me, like right into that, where it would be family and friends,
Mm.
and that's sometimes
Poor boundaries.
poor boundaries with your family and your friends, where
Mhm.
you would rather do things with your family or friends than you would with your own wife.
Mm.
Now that can cause an issue because, like for us, I know we try to do everything together, but sometimes just things just don't work out that way.
Right.
But it's good to be around your family and your friends, but you got to give yourself, um, you got to get yourself where you can spend time with your family, but then also spend time with your friends,
Right. Mm-hmm.
and with your spouse,
Mm-hmm.
and keep that and like again, it's just that fine line of just trying to balance that.
Right.
I know, like for you, like if we lived in the States, you'll be going over to see your family all the time,
Right.
but you wouldn't go over there and spend like 5 hours over there. You'll go over there, every couple of days, maybe for an hour, visit your
Right.
mom,
Mhm.
visit your sister, you know,
I'm,
stay longer than
but you know
that.
what? Some
But
people
you know
can
what I
let
mean?
people consume all the daytime where they like, oh, I got to make sure I'm here for that. You doing everything, but you know what I'm saying. But say, okay, let's do this together as a family.
Hmm.
You know, oh, I can't with you today. It's okay to say no if you
Well,
can't do something.
we've already seen a marriage kind of break up because of that.
Mm,
And I'm not gonna, obviously I'm not gonna say who, but
yeah.
I'm talking about,
Right. Mm-hmm.
where in the marriage the woman seemed to be more apt to be towards her family
Mm-hmm.
than her own husband.
Mm-hmm.
And when the husband said, "Hey, can we do something?" Oh, I gotta do this for my mom. I gotta do this for my sister. I gotta
Mm-hmm.
do this for my father. I gotta do this for my family.
Right.
It was like they was more willing to do things but not spend time with the husband.
Right.
And then next thing you know, they're not together no more.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that was the reason,
Right.
but I'm pretty sure that played a part
Right.
in the breaking up of their marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Um
It can play a big part.
yeah, because it does play a part. Because if you let your family, your friends monopolize your time,
Mm-hmm.
your spouse is not going to feel wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't feel wanted, they're going to go somewhere where they feel wanted.
Yeah.
So that would be on that part of the fact of pull boundaries with your family and friends.
But I will also say the boundaries can consist of making sure you keep your business to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Don't share what's going on in your marriage with your family.
Oh, we talked, baby. We said that so
No,
many times.
I'm
We
just
can
saying.
say that in
And
nauseum.
guess what?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say it again because a lot of people go through that where they, they talk about things that's going on, especially bad things that's going on in the marriage of their family, and family is in the mode of protecting their loved one, right?
Yeah.
So they like, oh, he hurting you or she hurting you or whatever, or what they did, and you end up spilling everything, and then the next thing you know,
Why? But why do people do that? See, I think sometimes.
because they sometimes want somebody on their side.
Yes,
You know what I'm
that's where I
saying?
was going with
It
it.
want to
Yeah.
be. It's not mutual. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? It ain't like your family is not going to be a person that's going to look at both sides. They only going to look one way.
I disagree. Sometimes you have some family members that be like,
It depends.
and you have some family members that will
depends.
say, "Hey, wait a minute, what did you do?"
Right. It depends on the. It depends
It
on the
depends if they
people.
like the other spouse.
You're right. Right.
That's
Yeah.
pretty much what it goes down to. If they like
Yeah.
the other spouse, they be like, "Wait, what did you do? Why did they react that way? What
Right.
did you do
Mm-hmm.
to make them,
Because one thing
look
about your
look at
family,
both sides?"
they're gonna sit there and listen, right? And while
Right.
you talking and you saying everything and what's going on or what my husband's doing or what she doing, and by the time y'all try to reconcile and make things better between you guys, if you get to that point,
Hmm.
then your family, like, why you with them or why you with her
Not just your family,
or
but
your
best
friends
friends,
or your friends.
friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, go
You
telling your
need to divorce
friends.
her or you need to divorce him after
Hmm.
she done did
And
that
it's always the
and
one that's
after
not
he done
married.
did that. Yeah,
It's
most
always the one
times
that's not married,
not happy.
single,
Mhm.
not happy, depressed,
Mhm.
and just want and no. And guess what? They don't want to see you happy.
I just think the most important thing is to, especially in a marriage. And I know you be want to talk to somebody. I know you want to share what may be going on and what you may be feeling. And I think if you're going to do that, you need to speak to a counselor or someone or somebody confident that am I saying that right? Speak to someone that
That's it.
that
Yeah, I
can
know what
be
you mean.
mutual on both sides and not going to judge either you or that or your spouse or somebody that's just going to listen and not, you know what I'm saying?
I think you need to talk to the spouse first.
Yeah, but
And
the
get
main
that
thing,
and try
talk
to
to your spouse. Yeah,
get that going first. If
yeah,
that don't work, then you say, look, we're not coming to an agreement here. Let's try to get help. And
right.
then do it together. Because
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to go and look for help, but the other person, because you're both gonna want help.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna work if one person only wants help but the other one doesn't.
Yeah.
Or they don't see nothing that they're doing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna work that way.
No.
So you have to confide in somebody that maybe can get through. So in that case, sometimes you do have a family member or friend that is
Mm-hmm.
neutral that you can
Mm-hmm.
say, look, I'm just having this hard time. You think you can have, that's why it's good to have like-minded couples,
Or people, yeah.
people around you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say this, even for a married couple, it's okay to have some friends, very, very low amount of friends that are single. Not because sometimes they have the air of the other person, not for marriage tips, but just sometimes for just to help you navigate through some things. You
To
have
vent,
good, yeah,
to
to
vent,
vent.
to
You
listen.
do
Yeah.
right. that that are not in it to try to hurt your marriage, and that they respect your marriage, and they're
Right.
totally in, because we have friends like that.
Yeah, you can have a friend
We have friends that were
that's
single,
single and
right?
that can be like, you know what, you guys gonna make it through it. But if you got somebody that's saying, girl, you know what, a man, leave her, or you need to get rid of them, then they not in it to see you guys flourish. You
Hmm.
get what I'm saying? And I would just say, just be careful with that, who you share your issues with, because not everybody want to see your marriage make it.
So what do you think another thing is that can hurt that can ruin a marriage?
For not apologizing for things that you have done, holding on to stuff, and if y'all have experienced something and you just like, I ain't fit apologize because I know I'm right, and you sticking to what you believe, and then you never owning up or taking responsibility for your action.
Mm.
I think that's important.
Yeah, because another
If a
person
person
thinks
can't never see their own wrong in a
Mhm.
relationship, then how are you going to grow?
You're not.
Because to you, everything you do is right and everything they do is wrong.
So then you have that mindset of, no matter what I do,
Mm-hmm.
you know, no matter what I do, then it's wrong, and no
Mm-hmm.
matter, it's like, I'll feel, oh, no matter what I do, no matter how I do it, it's just like how we treat people in general.
Yeah.
We're a negative group of people. Everything we remember is negative. We don't remember anything positive that somebody does.
You know how they say how you cancel people? Sometimes you can cancel your own spouse, or because you just want to do what you want to do, and how you feel is your feelings matter. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to apologize if you've done something to your spouse or said something, or if your spouse comes to you and say, look, I don't like this what you're doing. I think when you go to your spouse, instead of just pointing a finger towards that person, and I think that's something we had to learn as well, is to not, if I come to you with something, not always be like you, but to say, I don't like what this situation is. I don't like how it made me feel.
But then at
You
the
know what I'm
same token,
saying?
when you bring up that point,
Mm-hmm.
we have to learn this, is that you come to me with a problem
Right.
that you may be having,
Mm-hmm.
but then let me explain why I may do what I'm doing,
All right. Or
and
why you
then
did what you
and
did.
did what I did. But
Mm-hmm.
then we can have a conversation on how that made you feel, how it made me feel.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't go in and say, this how I feel, so you have to stop completely because this is how I feel.
Or because of you, this, or
Right.
because of
Because
you.
you have to
Right.
understand where the other person's coming from too. So we
Mm-hmm.
need is a drawn out conversation, because you have to have is a long conversation, because you got to come and say, this is what's bothering me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is what's bothering you. I'm sorry. This is what's bothering you. I didn't realize it was bothering you.
Right. Yeah. Because
But this
sometimes
is
you won't
why,
know that
well, we
that's.
talked about this last week. This
Mm-hmm.
is why I did what I did,
Yeah.
because this is the way I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to then, okay, well, I understand that's the way you feel. So now, can we figure out a way that we can both be happy with the conclusion of this conversation, so that we can both agree, this is what we need to do, this is what we don't need to do,
Right.
to make each other happy.
Right.
Because it will still be more of a control. So it's like saying, so that's the case, anytime you don't like something, I don't like what you did, so you need to stop.
But the easy part is it's always easy to flip and blame the other person. That's the easy part, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
Right. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? You can pretty much be like, it's because of you. It's the reason I'm acting like this. No, no, no. No, don't blame someone else for your actions. I think we all can control how we can react to something.
Yeah,
You know what
definitely.
I'm saying? But just because your spouse may be doing something that you don't like, you can still, either in your mind, you have a moment right there to say, how am I going to react to this? Am I going to yell and scream and curse? Or am I going to sit back and listen and take and really observe and listen to what your spouse is saying, and then respond? Because I think what a lot of people have a problem with is actually listening to what their spouse is saying, and,
Right.
and actually taking it in, that, digesting it. I always say digesting what your spouse is saying, and comprehending is another word I would use. Comprehend what your spouse is saying, and then go from there. Because once you have a clear understanding of what your spouse is saying, then you guys can kind of work towards how you can get out of it.
Yeah, I agree.
You
And
know.
that goes to my one, and that's communication. Now our first show was on communication.
Yeah, y'all go back and watch that. I'm gonna actually
Yeah.
put a video up
And so the
at the end of this.
first video was on communication.
Yeah.
And that's the main, like I always say, that's one of the main things is communication. So like, you may get mad at me, but just like today, I communicated and you did not listen.
I did it, but you know what? Let me tell you something. I listened, but I didn't do it.
Yes,
I heard you.
Yes,
but I didn't.
Said,
I didn't fulfill.
I got time.
I didn't fulfill.
I got time.
Yeah, I did.
And I'm like, I'm on my way. I got time. I'm gonna be there this time. Okay.
Yeah.
And I get here and you're sitting there doing nothing but on the phone. And I'm like, did anything get done? No. Oh, I had this. No, wait. I told you had plenty of time to do it.
Oh my goodness.
Communication is key. I communicated.
You know you did.
And you did not.
You know what? I was answering you back on the phone as yes, okay.
Right. But then
as if it was getting done.
Because what did you say?
But when you physically got here, it wasn't.
No, but because what did you say?
I had more time.
No, because you said, 10 minutes. Oh, he's not gonna be in 10. He'll be in 20.
I did say that.
Communication.
Communication is key.
But see, the thing is that with communication, then comes with that. Even though I was irritated, I'm like, come on, let's get this done.
But what's one thing I didn't do though? I'm so proud of myself. I didn't shut down. I didn't allow myself to become irritated or angry because I didn't do something that I told you I was going to do. Did that make sense?
Yeah, because most times the spouse be like, well, you know what? I don't know why you acting that way. We're getting it done now. I'm like, yeah, but wait a minute, wait. But we could have had it done already if you had just did what I asked.
Yeah.
So, you did what you asked me to do.
Yeah.
So, in that respect, and then you don't argue.
Yeah.
And you don't scream and you don't shout. You have an adult.
This is what I'm saying. I see where we are growing in our marriage because that little situation could have turned into something so big. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you would have shut down.
No, I'm just saying for some people, and even for me, sometimes depending on how I'm feeling at that moment, that it could have actually went into something big. But I was like, you know what? My husband was right. And sometimes it's okay to admit that your spouse was, on point with it. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to do that.
One thing I want to say about
some people don't like to admit to someone else being right.
Right. But that's what I'm about to say. One thing I want to say about communicating. When you communicate, and if I'm telling you something, don't think when the spouse is telling you something, don't think that the spouse is blaming you.
Yeah.
The thing is, at that moment, they're just communicating what was wrong.
Yeah.
Or what was
going on
at that time.
Yeah.
I think sometimes as couples, we go back to the past.
Yeah.
Now he's blaming me for blaming me for everything that I did. I don't do nothing right.
I remember when you did this.
Yeah.
What happened when you did that?
We've been there. We've been there.
Right. And then you back to square one.
You know what I'm saying? So that's my point. When you communicate, communicating is it goes both ways. You have to communicate, but you have to understand it's that. And not like we always tell our children, criticism is good. Just because I criticize you don't mean I don't love you.
Yeah.
Just because I criticize you doesn't mean that I don't care. Sometimes actually criticism is showing that I do care.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't care, I wouldn't say nothing.
Yeah.
I would have walked in the house and I'd be like, oh, and I wouldn't, if I didn't say anything, then you'd think, oh, nothing's wrong. No. If I'm communicating something to you and you don't do it, I have to say to you, why didn't you get it done? I did everything on my end.
Yeah.
I did my part. Now you have to do your part. I'm not saying you did anything wrong, but can you please, for the future, if I communicate and I say I'm home in 10 minutes, guess what? I'm gonna be home in 10 minutes. So now next time if I say this, you will, you know what?
I was operating.
And you even said, because the funny thing is you even said, oh, I'm gonna use the bathroom so that I can be ready. And and when I got here, what did you do? You went upstairs.
I was operating on.
I'm like, wait a minute.
I was operating on. How
No, that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. You was operating your own time. It wasn't on black time. It was on the woman's time. You was on the phone. You was doing your thing, and you just was not paying attention to the time.
I wasn't. Oh my gosh! And then when I saw you come through the door, I was like, oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he came earlier than I thought.
No, I came on time. I didn't come earlier. I came on the time that I said.
You did. You did. Oh my goodness. But you know what? I think communication, in a lot of relationships, people always ask, how you communicate, how you can make things better. You make things better by actually saying how you feel, expressing. I mean, don't hold it back. Actually tell your spouse how you feel, talk to them. And the other best thing, like I always say, listen. Actually listen to your spouse. Listen, let them talk, finish, don't interrupt, but actually listen to them. Let them talk first, let each person take the floor and allow that person to express how they feel. And once you have listened, or you get a piece of paper, write down some points that you want to talk about, key words that stuck out to you, that you want to talk about. That way you guys, the communication can be even better, because now you can say, remember you said this, I want to talk about this point, or I want to talk about that point. I think that's important too. But for me, I definitely have to jot things down, because I'd be like, you said this, so depending on what it is. But I would say listening is the main thing.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yep.
I remember that when we have our next discussion.
Yeah, me too. But I think we've been doing so much good.
So much better.
So much better. I said so much good.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
So another thing that along with that is then showing gratitude for your spouse. Never did we talk about that?
Not really. Like, saying we have peach, we have talked about it and put a little pinch in it on different episodes.
And we're gonna pinch it again. But I'm just saying.
But I think it's good to reiterate. So I would say just saying thank you, to your spouse. I think sometimes we suspect for our spouses to do something and be like, oh, okay, or just be like, okay, and not even actually saying, well, you know what, thank you for this. Or even if they give you something, you suspect for them to give it to you. Not even saying. I think sometimes we lose that sense or
expecting the spouse to do something automatically, without asking, but then get mad when they don't do it. But showing the gratitude, I appreciate.
Well, if your wife, let's say for instance, your wife always do this thing that she always do. Let's say she always cleaning the bathroom, or she always washing the dish. I'm just making an example. Or she always doing these things, and you be like, you know what, babe, I got it. Or she getting up early in the morning to help with the kids, and she let her husband sleep for a little bit longer. You could just be like, maybe one morning you could say, you know what, baby, I let my wife sleep for a little bit.
Okay, here's a question.
No, wait a minute.
No, because I know you see. You know what? No, guess what? No, I'm cutting you off because you know why I'm cutting you off. Because you know why?
Cut me off. We just said communication.
I'm communicating. I'm cutting you off for this reason. Yes, you do that for me. You do let me sleep, and you get up and get the kids. But what do I do to make up for that?
Wait a minute. You didn't see. If you would have let me finish my statement,
finish your statement.
You would have heard what I said, because I was talking in an example.
Not an
example.
No, you talking about us. Go ahead.
My gosh. Okay, fine. I'm talking about us.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, but either way, I'm just saying, if that's, but I'm also trying to make a point here. If your spouse is doing that, then you can say, you know what, I'll do it today. Or, just take a moment to think about your spouse and not always just, the everyday routine. It's okay to change things up. But one thing I do love is that if I'm doing something like that, and I'm always getting up, my husband always, get up and take the kids to school or pick them up when he can. But majority of the time, our routine has been lately is that my husband get up, take the kids to school, especially since the weather ain't been good, take them to school, pick them up. And, it's been working out like that. So, I really do appreciate that, because it really helps me not to go out and be in the weather if I don't have to be. But, if I do, we do what we have to do for our children.
And that was my point. I was going to say.
If you would have let me finish my statement, sir.
That's because I'm saying
you would have let me finish my statement, sir.
Also, I want to just go rewind and go back a little bit, because you're saying about the bathroom, cleaning the bathroom. Now, the reason why I don't clean the bathroom is because
I wasn't saying that to say what you don't do. I was making an example.
I'm not mad. I'm not even saying you're blaming me, because the people are gonna think I'm saying I'm not. I'm making a point of that You don't let me clean the bathroom because you said I don't do a good job. So that's why you clean the bathroom.
But you know what? I think we need to try to.
So would you like me to now clean the bathrooms?
Yeah,
I can clean the bathroom
I
sometime.
think we need to go back and revisit
Okay,
and
well,
just to see how it goes. You know what I'm saying?
okay, I'll clean the bathroom one day then.
Just
Cool.
to revisit.
I have permission to do because I actually didn't. You actually took away my privileges. So
I did.
I see. So you admit
I
that.
did,
So
I
that's
did.
why I didn't do it anymore because you took
Yeah.
away my privileges.
But I'm
So
more
now you're giving
saying,
me back the
you know,
privilege to do
some
to
people,
try.
right? Yeah,
and
I
do it?
do. Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
All right.
You know, because
Because I want to make that clear.
yeah, because my
See,
point.
communicating.
Yeah,
Okay.
because my point was to help someone else that's maybe going through this in a marriage. Is that do something that you do the something that your wife always do or what your husband always do. Just take a moment to take that off their shoulders for a moment to let them know that look, I care. I see what you're doing. Thank you so much. You know what? I
But
take
the
over
thing
today.
about the thing is that you don't always have to do something physically. Just saying to them, I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Just saying to them. And that's why
but that's
what I
good.
but that's why I see me going in if I'm at work.
But doing both is good though, right?
Yes, doing both is right. But I'm
Yeah.
saying sometimes the other person may not have a chance. Like I met a couple the other day and the wife says to me, "Oh, my husband, he tries to do the dishes every now and then,
Mhm.
but I just don't let him do them because all I hear is, just a whole bunch of
Stuff
noise
everywhere.
and stuff everywhere. So
Yeah.
I'm like, and I know he's trying, but I just know he don't feel comfortable.
Mhm.
So I appreciate him trying,
Mhm.
but you know what? I'd rather him just go do something else, and I'll do the dishes.
Yeah.
So but it's just the thought that that she knows that he's willing to try.
Yeah.
So my point is that you don't always have to physically do something. Just verbally sometimes will make a difference.
Yeah.
Verbally
Mhm.
will go a long way and helping. And
Yeah.
that's all I was saying is
Yeah.
just, verbal. If you're just verbal about it, that's just as good too. Because I'm not saying that everything has to be, you don't have to reciprocate everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
well, yeah,
some
you're right.
men
Because
and even some women, it's just like a man who takes out the garbage all the time, but the wife doesn't feel comfortable taking out the garbage.
Mhm.
She's not gonna, she takes out the garbage. She may totally screw it up by doing it the wrong way,
Mm.
putting this in the wrong spot, the recycling in the wrong spot. If she just says to her husband, but I really, what, I'm gonna make, what do you want for dinner tonight?
Mhm.
What I'm gonna make your favorite meal tonight because I just want to show my appreciation to you for what you do for the household.
Yeah.
For you taking the
I don't
garbage out
think we, I
every
don't
night.
think we ever
And
should
that's
underestimate the power of showing someone that you care.
but that's what I'm just saying.
Mhm.
It don't have to be it don't have to be where you have to go and do the chore.
Yeah.
That's my point. You
Yeah.
don't always have to go and do the chore
Mhm.
because
Just saying the words. Thank you.
thank
Yeah.
you, just
Mhm.
being appreciative and
Mhm.
sincere in the sincerity of what you're showing.
Yeah.
That will be good enough in most times to
Mhm.
me.
Mhm.
So that's why I brought that up because you were saying like I should go clean the bathroom. I don't
Mhm.
like cleaning the bathroom anymore. You spoiled me. But
Yeah, I
since you
have.
said that the chains are off and I'm not free, I will go clean the bathroom every now and then. I will
Okay.
do that.
Okay.
When do we clean on a Thursday night for Friday or
Yeah,
we close
most
for
time before
Sabbath,
the
right?
Sabbath come in.
Right.
I try to
Okay.
do like a little deep clean.
Okay. All right. No problem. I'll do that because I usually like cleaning the bathroom, but you tell me I don't like the way you clean.
But you know what? I take that back, and then because the new year is coming up, and I just want to change some things up. I think we should do that.
Well,
Revisit.
I've actually cleaned the bathroom one time when you were sick, and you said, "Oh my goodness, this is actually pretty clean."
Yes.
So I can clean. See?
Yeah.
Take
So,
away my expertise that I had.
but you know what? You know what? That's true. I didn't think about it. Maybe it's therapeutic for you to clean up different things, and
It's not
clean up.
therapeutic for me to
Oh, it's
clean up
not?
nothing. It's
It's not
therapeutic for you. I look at it as a chore. Like, when would I be done with this?
Oh my gosh.
Shoot. Anyway.
But you know what? I want to touch on this too. Keeping secrets from one another.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you feel the need to not tell your spouse something, then you have an issue.
Yeah, definitely.
Point blank.
Yeah, you should never keep any secrets from your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
I know us personally, we don't keep secrets.
Mm-hmm.
I always say to you, there's always a secret that you may keep, but you did not intentionally keep it. And I know you're gonna say, "How is that?"
Yeah, I was about to ask that.
Because it's been times. There's been times where, like, keeping a secret is like somebody telling you something, and then you don't tell your spouse, and then like a week later you remember, or a week later the person comes and say, "Oh yeah, I told your husband, or I told your wife,"
Oh, I can see
and
that.
you're like, "Oh man, you know what? I just totally forgot to tell you."
Yeah.
Isn't that keeping a secret?
No, not necessarily, because you think that you know, you didn't say it because you just intentionally, maybe you just really forgot.
I'm saying that's my point. That's what I'm saying. So like keeping a secret like intentionally
Not
is not good.
intentionally keeping a
That's
secret.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Keeping it intentionally, and you can tell when it's been done intentionally. You
Yeah.
can tell when you was trying to hide something,
Trying to lie.
right? Trying to lie on something, or
Mm-hmm.
like I did this, but then I go some years. Oh yeah, I did it. And
And
then you
some
really
people
didn't do
make it,
it.
oh, it's just a little white lie. No, 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 no. I
A
don't like
lie is
it.
a lie.
A lie is a lie to me.
Yeah.
Like, why if you feel like you have to lie to your spouse about something, then you really need to evaluate yourself, evaluate your marriage, your relationship, and see what's causing you not to, like, again, communicate with your husband and be truthful. Like,
Yeah.
why you can't, or your wife, why you can't be truthful, why you got to lie about it.
Yeah.
What is going on that you feel like you can't freely talk to your spouse?
That's my point. And that if you can't freely talk to your spouse, then we need to go into another thing that can definitely.
Because then you lose trust.
Well, it's not just lose trust. You
Yeah,
lose.
yeah,
You
it
lose
is.
belief. You lose belief. You lose trust. You lose
I
everything.
just said trust, and then you said no, it's not just trust. It
I
is
said
trust.
no.
Then you turn around and say use belief and trust.
No. I didn't talk. I wasn't saying that you was wrong. I didn't say
Okay.
that you don't lose trust.
Mhm.
I said besides trust, you lose belief in the person.
Yeah.
You lose all. You just lose all understanding of the. Like you just lose a lot with
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
You lose all respect for the person. If you don't have, if you can't trust the person, but there's other things besides trust, you lose everything pretty much,
I just
and it
think
can ruin your
yeah.
marriage.
I think it's important to tackle those hard conversations. Talk about those things that you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to talk about this. I don't want to bring this up. No, talk about it.
Right.
Bring it to the table, even if you don't feel comfortable, even if you feel embarrassed, or whatever the situation may be. Your wife, your spouse have to, or your husband have to be the person that you can tell sometimes your darkest secrets to. Not just sometimes, but hopefully all the time.
Sometimes, you mean all the time.
I said I took it back. I took it
You
back.
said sometimes.
I took it back. I said not sometimes, but all the time. Tell your secrets to. If you can't talk to somebody, you got to be able to talk to them besides God. You know what I'm saying? Because He knows everything.
Hey, you should be able to tell your husband or your wife anything.
Like go to them and have those hard conversations. Be like, look,
Yeah.
I don't like this.
It's not even I don't like this. It's
Or
just
or
I had this happened to
right,
me.
or this the situation.
Or this is situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Or this is
Yeah.
something I've been dealing with and
Yeah.
I didn't know how to tell you. I didn't know how to put it into words. Even
Let's
sometimes
work
for
it out
some
together.
even some people, write it down. Write it down, right? And give the paper to your spouse and be like, you know what, read this. Or if you or however, I'm just giving different maybe can help someone. Do a voice note. Like talk about it in a voice note and just by yourself and just talk about how you feel and what or whatever the situation may be. And so be like, you know what, listen to this. Say it's different ways you can talk and communicate to your spouse, especially if it's a hard conversation that you just don't want to maybe repeat again or or something like that. You could just give it to them like that. It's so many ways we can do this.
Mhm. I had to throw in one little thing about. Well, I agree with everything you just said,
Mm-hmm.
and I was gonna go because it was on my mind, and that was about we was talking about appreciating and showing gratitude and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and it just came over my head. Also, in a marriage, always make the other person feel wonderful about themselves, or beautiful, or handsome about
Mm-hmm.
themselves,
Mm-hmm.
because I think
Build them up,
sometimes,
basically.
yeah, because I think sometimes, a spouse can start feeling a certain way, maybe gain some weight,
Mm-hmm.
maybe the body changes some, maybe they're not as spry as they used to be, maybe as they get older, as you get older, you know but as a spouse, our duty is to make sure that the opposite, the spouse, is comfortable with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially like with women that have babies, their body changes, they like, oh, I don't look, you start feeling uncomfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
You start feeling uneasy about yourself. You start feeling, you know I don't look right. Nobody wants me. My own husband doesn't want me.
Mm.
So And even as a guy, you start gaining some weight, you get a little pot belly.
Yeah.
You're just not looking the way. You start looking yourself in the mirror. You're like, oh, my wife don't like this. She's gonna want somebody younger. She's gonna want somebody,
But instead of doing
especially.
that, try to do something about it.
I'm about to get into
Okay,
that.
sorry.
So as a husband, like, or even the wife, give your spouse, that encouragement that they need.
Hmm.
I know they say, why do you need encouragement? Because it's good to hear from your spouse, hey, you look beautiful today.
Hmm.
Hey, you look good today. Or I
Hmm.
like that outfit.
Right.
you know. And I think more, I'm talking about for myself more than anything, because I know this for a fact. You know, when I look at you,
Hmm.
I remember when I first met you,
Hmm.
and I look at you now,
Right.
and yeah, I know it's two different women standing in front of me.
Wow.
But and I said this to you, I think I said a little bit of this last week.
Right.
When I first met you, I fell in love with you from the day I met you.
Hmm.
So that's what I remember.
Right.
So even 17 years later, I still I still remember how you used to look. It doesn't matter to me how you look now. I don't look at you in that way. I don't sit there and say, "Oh, I wish you would lose some weight," or "I wish you wouldn't look that way."
Right.
I still remember you how you was when we first met,
Hmm.
because that to me, that's how I should always remember you, because that's how I'm even going in more of a biblical sense. When Jesus makes us, he says, you're well. This is
You're wonderfully
You're
made.
wonderfully made. You're
Yeah.
well,
Hmm.
and then as you get old, as you start growing and living your life, you start doing sinful things, you start doing things, you start changing. Does God change the way he looks at you?
No.
Does he says, "Oh, look, you did this, you did that, or you look this way now, you look that way now, so now I don't love you anymore."
No, he love us still.
Exactly. So for me personally, I try to take the form of what Jesus would do,
Right.
and that is, I remember you from when I first met you,
Right.
and what I fell in love with.
Hmm.
And no matter what may change with you as we go along with this marriage, for me personally, I'm not gonna say, "Oh, I wish you would change that." I know I was joking, say, if you lost too much weight, we can't be together, because
Yeah.
I can't be with like
Yeah.
really slender
Just like that
woman. But
song.
I lie when I say that, because I'll still be with you. I'll just be like, hey, can you eat a little
Can you
extra
eat a little
to
bit more?
yeah, could you
Yeah.
put on a little weight?
Yeah.
But and that's what I'm saying. So like for me, I look at you how the day I first met you, just like Jesus would look at us when he first made us and said, "You're wonderfully made."
Hmm.
When I first met you, you was wonderfully made. I fell in love with you from the day I met you.
Mm.
So that's the way I look at you. And that's why I always tell you. And this is why when I say to you, "Hey, beautiful," or you know what, you say to me, "How do I look?" And I'm like, "You look beautiful." No, I don't. Yes, you do. Because in my mind, I always have you. You'll always be beautiful to me, no matter how. Even though you may not think that, even though you may not feel that, you always will be. You'll always be beautiful to me. You'll always be wonderfully made to me.
Yes.
And I just want to point that out, because I know
I
this
I feel
is.
the same way about you because I was looking at some pictures of us when we was younger,
Mhm.
and I was like, man, we look so different. Like
Oh yeah, we did.
we were like our bodies,
Hmm.
just looked we
I was
not
slender.
we both were. And I was just like, wow, like it ain't. I know I'm never gonna probably look the same way I did when I was younger, but I think in some marriages we all can stand to better ourselves and our health, and and different things like that. But I always the thing is my love hasn't changed for you. You know that song that I still love you when you gain a little weight. Yeah, you know that
No,
one
I never
by
heard that one.
music by music.
No,
Okay, anyway, the
I never listened to music that much.
but he basically was
That's an
saying
artist, by the
just
way,
as
not
long,
music.
yeah, he said this as long as your love don't change to me, it don't matter if you change, if you get gray hair, if you gain a little weight, or if you go through changes in life. As long as your love doesn't change for me, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because once your love change for a person, everything else really don't matter.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So I think for us, our love is still the same it was before. You know,
I don't think our love is the way it was before. I think our love has gotten better
I mean, in the sense of,
because we loved each other, but we still didn't know how to show. I think we know how to show our love better now
yeah.
than we did before.
Mm-hmm.
But what I meant by,
What I'm
but it's
saying
still
about change,
different.
by like, don't stop loving me.
But no, that
That's
will
what I'm
never, that
saying.
won't stop happening. But I'm saying
Yeah.
is that we changed. We love each other differently now because we learned how to love each other. I don't think we knew how to love each other back then.
Yeah.
But I did love you. And
I
what
can see that because some
we
people be like, I don't know how to love you. I don't know how to, I don't know how to do that. And some
Right.
people don't know how to love other people because they never really been loved themselves.
Right.
So how can they display love to someone else if they never really
So
felt
here's
love
another thing too
themselves?
about that, real quick, because we talk about love. So I was listening to something else, and the guy made this point.
Mm-hmm.
He said they went, a husband and a wife went to the zoo,
Mm-hmm.
and they saw two monkeys,
Mm-hmm.
and the monkey was all over the male monkey was all over the female monkey,
Right.
and the wife was like, oh, that's just wonderful. And then they went to the lion enclosure, and the lion and the lioness were separated.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, he wasn't even paying attention to the lioness. And the wife said to the husband, oh, look, that's a sin. He's not even paying no attention to his wife. So the husband said, okay, take a stone, throw it at the lioness. She took a stone, she threw it at the lioness. And
Mm-hmm.
when she did that, the lion automatically jumped up and started roaring.
Oh, protect his wife.
And then he said, okay, see that? He said, let's go back over to the monkey enclosure. He went up to the monkey enclosure. He said, do the same thing. She threw a rock at the monkey, the female monkey,
Right.
and the male monkey hid and ran and left the female monkey all for herself to fend for herself.
Mm.
And his point was, this was the point that just because the husband may not always show emotion or affection to the wife, doesn't mean that he don't love her.
Mm.
But when the time comes for him to protect her or be there for her or to take care of her, he will be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I know that's me sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm not the most affectionate person. I know
Yeah.
I'm not the most person
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that will show or that will show affection. That's just the way I am. That's the way, I won't even say I was brought up, because I was brought up with love and affection. I just think over the years I just became that way.
Right.
But if you need help or if you're in trouble or if something's going on, I'm there for you
Yeah.
in a heartbeat, no
Mhm.
questions asked.
Mm-hmm.
And I think women have to understand that about their man sometimes, and men have to understand that about their women, because some women are that way.
Would that also go with taking up for your husband and wife if someone's saying something bad
Oh,
about
you should
them?
always stick up.
Or even your
we've
family or friends?
We've always said that.
Yeah.
That goes to not telling your business.
Mhm.
If a family member came to me and said you did something, I'm like, really? I didn't know that. Oh well, you know what? I'll have a discussion. Like I would never throw you under the bus.
Right.
In that
but
way.
but
Not
some-
intention. I would
right.
never throw you on the bus and be like, oh, she shouldn't have did that. How dare she do that?
Right.
No, I'll only do it if me and you having a conversation.
Right.
I'm gonna stick up for you and have your back.
Right.
And then if I feel you did something wrong, and this has happened for both of us,
Right. Somebody
we-
saying something
we-
bad about you. I'm
we
like,
then
what?
come together at the
Right.
end, and we're talking amongst ourselves, me and
Mhm.
you,
Mhm.
and then we're like, hey, you know what? You could have handled that a little different.
Yeah.
You was kind of wrong for that. You could have did that a little different.
Right.
So it goes, yeah. That's definitely, don't undermine your spouse.
Yeah.
Don't undermine your spouse.
Mhm.
Don't make your spouse feel unworthy
Yeah.
or unwanted.
Right. Right. Or someone talking to you bad about your spouse, you'd be like, no, we ain't even fit a role like that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
But that goes to why we always say that we always tell each other everything. So if somebody came to you, because I'm pretty sure the bad things I've done in my life, I'm pretty sure you've had somebody come and said, oh, you with him? Why? He did this and that. And I know the first thing you said was, well, he's already told me that. And I
Yeah.
know they looked at it and said, what? He did? Yeah.
Mhm.
He actually told you that? Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Well, it hasn't happened for me. I know it's happened for you.
Yeah, it did happen.
It has happened for you, because nobody,
Especially
to be
when we
honest,
first got married.
yeah, because more than anything, where we moved to, we was more around people I knew.
Yeah, and people I know. So we was around people, our family and friends, and everybody
Right,
had their
but
different
people,
opinions.
but the people that you knew that I met, they didn't really. There was nothing really bad. I'm gonna say it was nothing bad about for them to say about you, but it was really, you was younger, so you didn't. I had 2 kids, ex-wives. It was like, it was just more.
Right.
You It was just I know they was like, he's been married before. Like, why would I tell you I've been married before? Like, really? Like, who would not? Why would
Yeah.
I get with you and not even tell you I was married before and I have children?
Because you know what, some people will be with people and don't even say that they've been married before, don't even say they had a family before, they don't say anything, they just pretend like
it never happened.
yeah, like
Yeah.
they didn't, like they actually put their past behind them, like
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it happens in relationships and people
Yeah.
find out stuff, you know, after they've been together. You be like, wait a minute, I didn't know this. And then you surprised, and guess what? You got issues because you know what I'm saying? Because the person couldn't come clean in the beginning. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because obviously maybe they had something to hide.
No
And
problem.
you know,
Yeah, it's true.
and that's to go back into keeping secrets.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
the last thing, and we're gonna be quick about it,
All right.
is that with everything that is going on, what we talked about, more than anything else, is you guys as things that could ruin the marriage. We're going to talk about the thing that can save your marriage,
Yes.
and that is more than anything is pray with each other, communicate with each other,
Mm-hmm.
and if you need to get that outside help, please go and get that outside help.
Talk to somebody.
Talk to somebody. Get that outside help. Fight for your marriage. Don't just give up because you don't like something that the other person said or did.
Right.
Fight for your marriage. Make sure that you put your all into your marriage, and and stick it out. If your wife or your husband is worth fighting for, then fight for them. But
Yeah.
my thing is, if you got married to them, then most likely they're worth fighting for.
Yeah, definitely.
So I would say that you fight for your marriage and just keep fighting and don't give up.
Yeah.
And no matter what you may go through, no matter what you may come your way, just keep fighting just keep praying, and know that God can heal. And if it doesn't work out by chance, then it's just one of those things, because I know this from experience. Sometimes it just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
It
It
just
can
doesn't.
happen.
It can happen. But
before it gets to
I
that
will
point,
say
you try best you can.
I will say this, and I tried my hardest.
Yeah.
I never just gave up.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
before I even learned about what I've learned about with being married to you for the last 17 years. I know that I gave my all when
Yeah.
it came to that. And we both gave our all.
Yeah.
It just was not going to work.
Yeah.
We both did.
Mhm.
In my previous marriages, we both parties did.
Yeah.
It just did not work.
Yeah.
But that don't mean, so just give your all. And it wasn't even about the children. It was about just, trying to make it work for ourselves.
Yeah.
Don't do it for nobody else but yourself.
Yeah.
Don't do it for your children, because your children will suffer in the end.
Yeah.
Because you may work it out, and then as you get older down the line and kids get older, and now you don't have that child to hold that marriage together, because the child's going off to school, then you end up breaking up. You're gonna end up breaking up then anyway,
Right.
because you was only together because of the child. So you should never be married or be with somebody because of the children. You should
Yeah.
be married or be with somebody because
you
you
both
love that.
want it.
You both want it. You love that person. You want to make it work, and that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Because for me, I love marriage, and I love to see people trying to make it work. And like my husband, like you just said, Pete, not every time it's going to work. But you know what? You just, try to leave out of that situation as best as you can. Maybe you can be friends if you can be, depending on what it is. But, just try to not lead to the point where it's really affecting you even after the fact. So, we just
right.
got to keep praying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to pray?
Yeah.
All right.
Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for this conversation that you allowed us to have. We ask, Lord, that somebody listening may take some points from it and use it in their lives, or be able to use it in their marriage, and they was able to help somebody or touch somebody with the thoughts and the comments that we had today. We ask that you be with all marriages, as the devil is strong in his path of trying to destroy the family as we know it today, through everything, through all the different bits and bots that is going on in life, the different things that are happening in this world. We ask, Lord, that you will continue to bless the families that want to make it work. We ask you to continue to bless the families that want to keep their marriage strong and faithful. And we ask, to God, that you will continue to watch over each and every one of us. We ask that you be with our radio listeners and our YouTube listeners, and that you will continue to bless us each and every day as we go through this marriage and the pitfalls and the ups and downs, and that you will teach us and show us each day where we should go and what we should do, and that we'll lean on you each day to help us to be better couples. We love you, Lord, and we thank you for this. I pray in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Guys, if you want to contact us, you can contact us.
Go on the Marriage Can Heal
Mhm.
podcast at gmail.com.
That's right.
It's not those. You can contact us at Marriage Can Heal podcast at gmail.com.
Yeah. So,
And if you would like to support us, you can go to at God is Land for PayPal.
Mhm.
And then you can also use the British pound sign, Marriage Can Heal too.
Yeah.
And if you feel the need to help bless our ministry as we try to use it to better ourselves and to better other folks that are listening.
That's right.
And please tell your friends, tell your family, tell your
Share,
enemies,
like, comment,
share, like,
subscribe.
subscribe. Yes. We
And when the
appreciate
ones
it.
that's listening in Adventist Radio, if you guys want to go over to our YouTube channel, it's Marriage Can Heal podcast on YouTube. You can look and subscribe, like, and share, and actually watch us and see what we look like. And we are beautiful people, right, babe?
I don't know about you, but I know I'm beautiful.
Oh, you
I'm
just
handsome.
said, oh, whatever. You see how y'all see how he recant.
I did that. I did that on purpose. You're the most beautiful woman I know.
But yeah, you guys can
Mhm.
go over there to our YouTube channel. So yeah, we're trying to grow over there as well. So yeah, we want to see more people over there to our YouTube channel. And
We appreciate
premiere
you.
and we premiere on Wednesdays, guys. If you want to watch early, you can go to our YouTube channel on Wednesdays at 4:00 UK time, and you can watch the podcast.
Right.
All right.
So this is Pedro.
And this is Tara.
And this is the Marriage Can Heal podcast.
See ya.
Peace.
Drop the beat now.